Alright, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking to you guys about something that I have struggled with for a very, very long time. Before I get into that, for those of you who are new to the channel, let me kind of introduce myself, because I hate when I go to a YouTube channel and I watch a video and the person just jumps straight into it and I'm new to it and I don't know what they're about. So if you're new, this is what the channel's about. I am Bryce Dettorre, 35 years old. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a special ed teacher for a high school, and then I am a fitness enthusiast. I enjoy doing all fitness things related to Spartan, Deca, High Rocks, all of those things. Kind of what they call the hybrid athlete right now. However, athlete is not like the main focus of this channel. This focus is all about really being geared towards a dad. I am obviously, like I said, a father, so I would consider myself a hybrid dad. A motto that I live by on this channel is NYAD, which stands for Not Your Average Dad. It's something I am striving for every single day, to be the best husband to my beautiful bride, best father to my beautiful daughter, best special ed teacher to all my students, and then obviously the best athlete that I could be in regards to what I think that is. We focus on family, faith, fitness, and finance, basically all those areas. We try to level up and get better, and that is really what the community is, and that is what this channel is about. So if that sounds like something you are interested, then keep watching the video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more. But before we jump into the actual video, the actual purpose of this video, I'm going to give you guys some updates on life situations. Big moment for me and Cassie yesterday. It was the first time that Adeline spent the night at my parents' house. So it was the first time that since Adeline was born. So Adeline is going to be 5 in November, so basically 4.5. For the last 4.5 years, me and Cassie have not had a night that it has just been us two. So it's kind of nervous, obviously, kind of sad. Missed her like crazy. Gonna go pick her up here in a little bit, but big moment for her. My mom said that she had a lot of fun with her, and then Adeline had a bunch of fun too, so that's always exciting. As for updates on my principal role, first off, I appreciate everybody who has commented. You guys have been saying some really nice things about how you think I would make a great principal, how the students would benefit, and I appreciate that. No update. I will know as of June 25th, so I don't know when this video is going up, but it's a Wednesday. I should get my test results, whether I find out if I passed the CPACE, which will allow me to take the principal position. As for enrolling in an intern program so I could take the intern position, or the principal position regardless, I'm not going to force anything. I am big on religion. I'm a religious person, so I'm going to put this in God's hands. If I pass the test, something I am struggling with a lot is I don't know if I'm ready to give up all that time with my daughter. As a teacher, I work 183 days. As a principal, I go up to 215 days. That's the first thing I asked when I got offered the position. How many days a year am I working? Going from 183 to 215 or 210, whatever it is, I automatically did the math. If I take that position, I am missing out on 25 days with my daughter. It's basically 5 weeks of summer, because as a teacher you get 8 weeks, as a principal I only get 3 weeks. That is big for me, because if you're new to the channel, go watch my last video that I made a video dedicated to my daughter, and it will show you how much time with her is very valuable and precious to me. So I don't know if I'm ready to give that up. However, I do think everything happens for a reason. So the fact that I was offered it, the fact that like all this kind of started taking place, I don't know. Maybe it is a sign that I am supposed to take a leadership role and step out of the classroom and go into more of an admin position. I don't know, and I don't know if I'm ready to make that decision. But however, like I said, I'm going to put it in God's hands. If I find out on Wednesday, the 25th, that I passed the test, then I will see that as a sign that I am meant to take this position. However, only 20% of people that take the test actually pass it. So that's why I'm also putting it in God's hands, because if I pass it, that's kind of like a sign, like, okay, I think I'm supposed to take it. And then hopefully it all works out, because like I said, I just don't know if I'm ready to give up 25 days that I could be spending with my daughter. So that's where I'm at. I'll keep you guys posted. As for, I got my Dettorre Atlas on Sunday, which is going to be June 22nd. I've never done one of these, so I will obviously document that and then keep you guys posted on that, how that went. We'll see how it goes. There's no running. It's all like physical stuff. It's almost more like a CrossFit competition. So we'll see how I do. But now let's get into the actual purpose of this video. So I watched this YouTube video a couple days ago, and I feel really bad because I forgot the guy's name. I'll probably try to tag him in the video. And it was a video that just came up on my feed, and I clicked on it, watched it, and it was very relatable. Everything he was saying, I was like, man, I've kind of struggled with that too. And a lot of you guys have made comments on previous videos, and I've kind of touched on it in the past, but the point of this video is I'm going to be talking about almost like, some people say it's body dysmorphia. Some people say, I think that's really all it's called. I think that's all they call it. But a couple of you guys have said that in a couple of my comments on videos in the past, and then some of you guys have said when I mentioned like, I want to fuel for performance, however I want to look a certain way. I've had people say like, you know, you should fuel for performance and not be so vain. And that is something that I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I've struggled with that, and I really think it, and I commented on the video, I really think it's because growing up I was like fascinated with superheroes. Like I would always play with action figures. I loved watching Spider-Man, X-Men, when all the Marvel movies came out. You guys obviously know I'm a huge fan of all those, and I would play these action figures, but as I'm playing with these action figures, like I would look at how they, like I had this Captain America doll that he was just jacked. He had huge shoulders, huge arms, six-pack, you know, all that stuff. And when growing up, obviously the way society works is you see in movies, you know, these people that are super fit, and like Rambo and Rocky and all these people that when I see those, I'm like, man, I want to look like that. I want to be like that. And then the generation and era that we're in right now with social media, it is so easy to get access to people that I'm not going to say it's unrealistic, because obviously if they've done it, it's possible. But you start seeing all these images of certain people that look a certain way, and you start thinking like, well, that's the norm, that's the standard. And I was watching another video of a guy kind of talking on this too. Like, actually, I think they commented. The guy was like probably like 12-13% body fat, and someone commented like basically a rude comment saying he doesn't even look that fit for being that. And someone else commented, like, it's crazy that we live in a world where when someone's 13% body fat or something like that, they're being like criticized for how they're not in shape. And that's crazy, because it's so true, and that's kind of where we're at. And the guy that I was watching, he's 49, he's a CrossFit competitor, like he competes at the highest level. I think he's won like 4 years in a row. Again, I feel really bad because I totally forgot. Let me get this guy's name, just so I can give him some credit. Jason Grubb. He's obviously like a major CrossFit competitor. Like I said, he's been at the games a lot of times, but he was talking. It's funny because when I saw him and I've seen him, I'm like, man, that guy's in really good shape. Like, I would like to look like him, move like him, perform like him. However, in his mind, he's talking about how he used to be a certain body fat and lean and all that stuff, and he's always struggled with that. So, and I literally just talked about this in my last video of when I got down to like 192 and I was super lean, and you could see my veins, and I had a six-pack all the time, and I couldn't grab any, you know, fat on my back and all that stuff. I told Cassie I want to get back down there, and she was like, I don't really like when you're that lean. Well, then I looked at a picture of myself, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, oh, I don't even really like how I look. Like, I like having some size. So where I'm getting at is after watching that video, and I have a daughter, so I always am like, I got to lead by example, right? Being a teacher, I see, and I was talking to someone, I'm kind of all over the place right now, so just bear with me. I was talking to someone the other day that I was telling them, I hope if I can instill anything in my daughter, it's that she is comfortable in her skin. People will always say, oh, she's very sweet, and I want her to be like that, and I want her to obviously take that with her. But what I see, especially with students in my class, the female students, with how social media is, and all of them are wrapped up in their phones, and all of them are wrapped up in their images, their whole life revolves around what other people think of them. And that would suck. And I even struggle with that to a certain extent. But I think, and again, I'm not a female, but I think with females, it's probably just that much escalated or elevated with how the media perceives you should look with people like the Kardashians, and not just the Kardashians, I mean everybody. You gotta look a certain way. You have to have this kind of body, this kind of butt. Like everything has to be fake, and that's like the standard. So I imagine it's only harder for females. But I don't want my daughter to have to go through that. Like we went to her dance recital last week, and I was looking at the dancers, and I'm like, man, dancers are pretty confident. Like these girls look like they are very confident. And in a sense, you have to be. Because dancing, you are very vulnerable to criticism. When you start dancing, that's why people don't like dancing. Because the second you start dancing, people are going to tell you either you suck at dancing or you're really good at dancing or eh. And it's like you are putting yourself out there for criticism. And that's tough. And the only way you could do that is if you are confident in your skin and who you are as a person. So after watching that video and kind of been where I've been struggling with, like, man, I want to get down to 10% body fat. I literally have been trying to summer shred and get there, but at the same time, it's like I have these performance goals, and at the same time, I want to live my life and be a present father, present husband. So where I'm going with this, moving forward, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I am going to up my calories, and I'm going to basically go to my maintenance calories for I don't know how long. Probably, I'm hoping I can, again, this is a mental struggle because I can already see me like get to a certain look and I'm like, no, I gotta lose weight and try to get back down. But I've never really like, I've kind of attempted it with back in around January, like I'm gonna fuel for performance, but I really wasn't. I was still in my eyes like, okay, I wanna look a certain way for a race. I'm really gonna try not to focus on my look and more focus on my performance. And in order to do that, I gotta up my calories. So I've already basically found out my maintenance calories, and I've already created a meal plan of where I'm going to maintain my calories to put on. Obviously I want to put on some weight, which that's going to be hard for me because I'm probably not going to like the way I look at first, but I really want to be able to switch my gears and how I envision fitness and not focus on how I look, but focus how I perform and focus on how I feel when I perform. A big thing that they always that has been like very popular in teaching is talking about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is like when someone says, oh, I suck at math. I've always sucked at math. I'm never going to be good at math. Well, that's like fixed. Growth mindset is like you attempt a math problem and you're like, I'm not very good at this problem. However, I'm really good at that problem. Or addition isn't my strong suit. Well, you're saying addition, that's like a portion of math. You're not saying you suck at math altogether. And the point of the book is basically talking about you always want to give praise for students' work rather than the results. So when they hand you a piece of paper and you say, oh, that looks awesome, well, that's the finished product. So now they're always looking for the end result and praise for the end result. They say as the student or child, I do this with Adeline, is when she's coloring, I'll compliment her work ethic. Mama, I really like how you're trying to finish the page. Mama, I like how you colored the entire page and not just a portion of the page. Mama, I like how you're really focusing right now and you're locked in. I like how you turned off the TV and now you're just focusing on your actual shading or the outlining. You always like compliment them on the actual process because process is always going to be there. So if you can get them excited about the process, the end result will come. But if you're only focusing on the end result, that's where you get these kids that are afraid to try new things because they don't know how they're going to be on the end result. But if it's like, if you're praising them because they're attempting to learn how to ride a bike, like you got right back up, great job. You know, you stayed focused when you fell off, or when you tripped and you were scared, you pushed through. Like you compliment them on those as opposed to, oh great, you know how to ride a bike. Because if you're complimenting them on like them getting back up or them not getting tired or them doing something when they don't want to, well, when it comes to learning how to swim or learning how to ride a motorcycle, it's going to be the same concept. You're going to praise them for the process. And I'm trying to take that and use it on myself as focus on your performance. Focus on your times for your runs are going down. Focus on how your strength in the gym is going up. Focus on how you're getting more sleep. Focus on how you have more energy. Focus on the process as opposed to just one thing I've been focusing on is how do I look? And again, that's something that if I'm being honest, that's something I struggled with pretty much since I was playing action figures. And then when I got into high school, I got labeled Captain America, and it was like I had this identity where I had to keep this image, and it's like now that I have a daughter, I don't want her to have to struggle with that. Which is really why I think I'll be able to focus and do this 3,300. I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to do this for 6 months and I don't know. This is gonna be tough for me to basically maintain my maintenance calories for X amount of months so that I can perform a certain way. In all reality, if I could get comfortable in my skin, I would love to keep it. I would love to be like, oh, this is the new me. I maintain this. Yes, I don't have a six pack. Yes, I don't look like I did at 10% body fat, but I feel good. I'm able to perform good. I'm not as sore. I'm stronger. I'm faster. I told the guy in the video that I was watching, I've been focusing on looking like a superhero, where I got to focus on performing like a superhero. Especially with all the hybrid athletes out there, where it's like, man, this guy has 9% body fat and he's able to run. Like, there's people that do it, and I'm not saying that obviously it can't be done. This is something I struggle with, so this is something I want to overcome. Like, maybe the people that out there that are at 9% body fat and able to run super fast, and they are these hybrid athletes, maybe they don't struggle with like the body image things like I do. I think it's hard not to, with the way the world is, with how, like I said, I could go on here and I can see the top fittest people in the world. I could see the Nick Bears. I could see the Chris Harrisons, or the Chris Harris. I could see all these people, the Steve Cooks, all these people that look a certain way, and it's like, I need to look like that. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a teacher. I don't do this for a living. I don't think I would ever do this for a living, because I love my main roles, which is, like I said, husband, father, and teacher. So, kind of a different video, and again, it might have been a little bit longer than what I wanted to, but I wanted to just touch on here because also in that comments of the video that I watched, there was a lot of people that said that they could relate to him. And I feel like, especially with my demographic and the community that watches these videos, I feel like I'm not the only one that struggles with this. So I encourage you, like I said, this guy kind of inspired me, so hopefully I can inspire you guys, that it's like, hey, you know what, maybe I stop focusing on so much how I look and focus more on my performance and see how I feel. Because at the end of the day, I want to perform the best in all roles of my life, and that is what this whole NYAD movement is about. So I am going to up my calories to, like I said, I think 3,300. I'll probably do a video of what a full day of eating looks like, because when I plugged in all my meals for what it's gonna look like, holy Jesus, I get to eat a lot, which I think I'm gonna be excited about that. So anyways, that will probably be the next video after I do the Deca Atlas recap, and I will keep you guys posted, like I said, on where I'm at with the principal thing. But I appreciate all the support from you guys, and then you guys already know the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I will catch you guys in the next one.